Greetings ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mengs, and today we're checking out some new Fire Emblem 16 screenshots that were just released. There are 46 in total, so we're just gonna go through them. I'm gonna give my opinions on them, and let's see what we can see. Obviously they're in Japanese, so there's a lot of things I won't be able to understand here. I'm not going to attempt to translate them, but let's just start. So we start out with a screenshot of female Blythe, who's looking pretty nice. Not a big fan of the texture, if I'm going to be completely honest. I'm not sure if this screenshot is just low quality, but it seems like when you zoom in, like there's this... I don't know, the texture doesn't seem very good when you zoom in on it, but this has been the case for most new Fire Emblem games. If you zoom in on the 3DS graphics, they look pretty awful as well. I don't know exactly what's happening here. It seems like it's showing off some sort of class. Then we got male Blythe in the same pose. I think a lot of these screenshots showcase off both genders of Blythe in the same situations. Again, seems to be previewing some sort of class, maybe what Blythe can promote into. I'm sure if someone can read Japanese, they can just read what's on the screen and correct me in the comment section, and I'm sure someone has already translated it, but I'm just giving my first opinion on these screenshots as I see them. So here we see Dimitri in the same situation, then a little bit of a nice combat pose there. Not a big fan of the texture of the grass, it looks really low quality. The shades do not look great either, but keep in mind that these screenshots could be from an earlier version and they may not represent what we see in the game itself, but graphics-wise, I am not very impressed so far. If you look at the detail of the environment behind him, the mountain, I mean the clouds look nice, but like, if you focus on anything but Dimitri, the graphics do not exactly blow me away, let's just put it that way. Then we have a screenshot of Edelgard, looking gorgeous as always. I gotta say, I love Edelgard's thighs. Not sure what's going on in the background here. It seems to be some sort of torches hanging. Definitely outside during night. So again here, it looks like we're just showing off for class. And then we got Claude, showing the player his arrow. I'm a bit disappointed he isn't upside down. Claude actually looks really nice. I really like his whole robe that he's got going on. And here we see male Blythe again, this time around with a slightly different pose and a slightly different outfit. Could be a promoted version of his class, possibly. His combat sprite, or the little combat sprite down in the lower corner, definitely looks a little bit more advanced. So I don't know the name of this guy, but I recognize him from the trailer. He was one of the spear fighters that were sparring with Dimitri. Again, looks to be some sort of class preview. So here we see the girl that I predicted would be a cavalier, Leonie. I recognize her from my waifu analysis, but now of course we know that everyone can be classed into everything. You have free reign, at least among your starting students. And here we can see she has 3 skills displayed, an axe skill, a bow skill, and a fist skill. So a fist skill will very much be a thing, you'll be able to punch your opponents. Her sprite looks like it's holding an axe. I'm not sure if this is just me not noticing it properly, but it sure seems like she's holding an axe on like the minimap. But she's holding a bow in her preview, so I think you'll be able to mix and match different weapon types. I think warriors, actually, now that I think about it, warriors can use axes, bows, and fists, so this is clearly Leonie as a warrior. Then we have this guy who looks to be some sort of mage, or a dark mage. He has 2 tome skills. They look pretty similar to me, but what I'm assuming this might be like light, dark, and anime. I'm not exactly sure. He looks playable, but he also has a little bit of an evil look to him. So I'm guessing this is going to be sort of like the dark and somber guy. I don't know his name. And here we have the guy who sparred with Dimitri earlier, dealing 10 damage to an enemy. Not a big fan of the graphics here either, if I'm gonna be completely honest. This game doesn't look particularly flattering when it's close up. Then again, very few Fire Emblem games do lately, but I don't know. It's just all these zoom-in shots isn't really doing a good job of showcasing off the beauty of this game, if I'm going to be blunt. Another close-up shot, I don't know quite who this is, looks to be some guy, Myrmidon most likely, hitting some generic spear-wielding guy, like a wide arc that looks way wider than it has any right to be, considering the size of the sword. Aside from the obvious things in focus, I'm just like looking at the trees and the grass again. The low texture of this game is not great. I do like the fonts, I do like the menu and everything. I don't even think the playable characters look that bad, but everything in the background looks really unimpressive. And then we see Dorothea casting a spell, a pretty big thunderbolt, it would seem. Again, she has her trademark outfit and hat, so it seems like she'll be keeping this, even if she reclasses into a mage. I don't know what she was supposed to be originally. So here we see a squad of archers, and I do believe we see Bernadetta there. I recognize her. She was an archer in the trailer as well. So again, this is sort of like the squad leading aspect of tree houses that we've come to, that we don't actually know all that much about yet. But you can see the little Triforce is next to Build 27. This is something that I know Lucky Crit commented on a lot. The Triforce seems to indicate some sort of squad-based combat in one way or another. So she's pulling off some sort of move here, which probably some sort of volley fire, it would appear. Maybe deals damage in an area of effect. I don't know. Here we see, I'm pretty sure this is Blyloth. Yeah, this is definitely male Blyloth. You can see his icon down in the lower left there. There's a little minimap on the side. This seems to be another one, like another close-up shot right before an engagement is taken. You can see a friendly squad on the right there. That looks to be Bernadetta wielding a bow, followed by her squad. There's some neutral mooks standing around Blyloth as well. They seem to be wearing the same weapon as he does. And again, we see that little Triforce symbol coming into play, probably indicating that there's some sort of squad combat going on. Again, I know I'm repeating myself a lot now, but these textures look really ugly when you zoom in like that. I mean, just look at Blyloth. Look at the... Man, it does not look good. I really have to say, like, the environmental detail of this game is not flattering to look at. I really hope this improves. They have improved the FPS since last we checked, so definitely don't think that this is going to be the finished version. They could definitely improve on things yet, and I hope they will. So here we see the grim-looking Dark Mage from earlier with his own little squad of mages. The Triforce symbol is very much in effect again, and he looks to be attacking some other mage. You can't see them on screen, but you can see their hit points in the lower right corner. Looks like they have 11 hit points remaining, and he seems to be casting a spell at them. It seems like whenever you use a skill, you will have this little zoom-in pan that like shows, I think, similar to how you see a character's face during critical hit animations. You get this sort of like zoom-in whenever big hits are being made. Next up, we have another screenshot of Blyloth with his squad. The Triforce symbol once again active. You can see the minimap again. And there seems to be 3 squads actually. There's a friendly squad next to us, and then there's a bunch of generics behind that squad, but I don't see a hero with them, so maybe they're enemies? I'm not entirely sure. It's kind of hard to tell from the screenshot if they're fighting or if they're about to go into a fight. So here we see a shot of the minimap, which is one of the nicest looking aspects of Tree Houses, I'd say. I really like the little head icons above the characters, looks really nice. I do like the detail here, I do like the grid system, reminds me a lot of the Tellius games. You can see the enemies over there. When you see them on the minimap, you only see one character, but when you zoom in, you see that they're accompanied by multiple characters. I think this is a really nice touch. We see female Blyloth again, with the little Triforce icon next to her. We have another screenshot, and this time around we get to see the terrain bonuses. So we see that female Blyloth is standing inside of forests, and she gets 30% avoid, it would appear, if that icon up in the top left corner there is indeed avoid, which I think it actually is. And she gets 1 defense, so looks like forests will actually be providing a lot of avoid. 30%, I mean, in most Fire Emblem games, forests have been 20%, and in some of the newer Fire Emblem games, like Awakening, forests have actually only given 10% avoid. So this is a huge bonus based on what we're used to, and I honestly think it's nice. I like that terrain gives a lot of avoid, because it makes it more lucrative to place units there, and you can take on more enemies. So yeah, that looks to be really good. So here we have another piece of terrain being showcased. At first I thought the little crystal there was actually some sort of indication that there was like something special going on, but that actually is just the cursor, I think, because I see it multiple times. So that little crystal will just spin around, like confirming that you're hovering above that tile. So here we see this looks to be a fort. You get 1 defense. I'm not entirely sure what that other icon is. Could be resistance, maybe. Maybe a magical defense. Maybe various terrain will give you magic terrain, kind of similar to the Wardwood tiles in Radiant Dawn. And it also seems to recover 30% of your hit points per turn. One thing I'm noticing is that you're not getting any avoid from the fort. You're just getting defense and healing. So forts may not be good for dodge tanking. They may actually only be good for defending and healing, whereas forests will actually give you avoid. Makes sense, I guess. I would like forts to give avoid as well, but I'm fine with this too. Kind of curious what this little other shield icon means. I'm pretty sure it means resistance. I don't see what else it would mean, but again, pretty interesting stuff. So here we see an indoor map, and this map actually reminds me a lot of the fort maps from Path of Radiance. And again, we see the cursor here. This is why I said it's a cursor. You see the same crystal hovering above the ground again. I like this map, actually. It looks kind of cool. There's a lot of hallways there. Seems to be a lot of breakable walls, a lot of corridors. Armor Knights will probably be pretty good here. You see a lot of units all over the place. There's some terrains here. I'm pretty sure that those tiles that we are hovering over are warp tiles, because we specifically were told that there are tiles that can warp you from one tile to another. Kind of similar to the stair tiles in the Fates games. You go on that, it probably teleports you across the wall to the other tile. So warp tiles, pretty much. So here we see an enemy attacking one of your guys. I'm not entirely sure who it is. Seems like we have some sort of wagon in the background. I'm not sure if that's just aesthetics or what it is, but you can see the enemy Myrmidon, it would appear. Sword-wielding guy. He's doubling our dude. He's 91 to hit, 5 damage times 2. It looks like, yeah, actually our dude is getting killed. Either our dude is getting killed or it's an allied unit, because I'm colorblind, so I'm not entirely sure, but I think that's a shade of purple or blue, but it's at least not the same color as the playable unit. So it would appear that this might just be a green unit getting killed, which, you know, pretty typical green unit behavior, I suppose. And here we see, I'm pretty sure this is a death quote. It looks like a death quote. We just saw this guy getting killed and now he's talking, so probably saying something along the lines of like, I don't want to die. Or like, again, if someone reads Japanese, feel free to translate this. So here we have a screenshot of some sort of effect going off. It seems to be some sort of huge area of attack. You can see that this is a player phase turn 7, but there's like this huge wind effect that seems to be affecting a lot of guys. I'm not really sure what this is. We got some indications that there might be some sort of Dragonbane mechanic coming back, so this might just be that. Something huge that affects the map in some big way, but we don't really know. Again, here we see a map. I don't really know what's going on with the coloring of this map. It looks really weird, like some sort of effect is going on, but seems to be some sort of city map. You can see a bunch of events going on the right-hand side there, maybe some sort of combat log explaining what's going on. Don't really know. But yeah, looks to be a city map. I'm getting sort of Conquest Chapter 10 vibes from this screenshot. Here we see the same map, but without the purple color scheme. We do see some red, though. I'm not really sure what that means, if it's just the enemy range or whatnot. But again, you can see this little pigtail girl that I was talking about earlier. I don't know her name, but I think she's part of Claude's group. Again, she has that Triforce icon next to her. She seems to be wielding axes in the screenshot. I recognize a lot of characters. I see Raphael down there, he's wielding an axe. Blythe on the left-hand side there, wielding a sword. So yeah, I see a lot of different characters in the screenshot. Claude as well, he's there too. Another screenshot of the same map. I don't really notice anything different here. So here we see Blythe running around. I'm not sure if it's female or male Blythe. I think it may be male Blythe. He's running around inside the Garrick Monastery, it would appear. You can see the students talking to each other here. It's probably going to be very similar to the My Castle feature from Fates. You're probably going to be running around talking to people. They're probably going to give you stuff when you talk to them, I imagine. And you can probably build relationships with them by inviting them into your quarters and stuff like that. You can see the little minimap there. You can see there is a speech bubble indeed there, indicating that a character has something to say. I'm guessing this is going to be very similar to Fates. Same screenshot, different angle of female Blythe. Gotta get that belly button, right? Again, here we see 2 little speech bubbles. I'm not entirely sure what the number up in the top left corner indicates. Her hit points, maybe? I'm not sure. There seems to be some sort of notification on the left there, saying that 3 something is ready. Not sure. Again, I hate to repeat myself, textures of this game really do not look good close up. Like, look at those trees. They're ugly as fuck. So here we see Blythe talking to Annette and Mercedes. I do believe that was her name. 2 of the girls that I found. I like Mercedes. Is it a Mercedes? She seems to be similar, but she seems to be a little less thick than I remember her. Could be a different girl. I'm not sure. They seem to be inside Blythe's quarters. I think this is going to be very similar to sort of like the private quarter thing in Fates, where you can invite students in to have a chat with you. So again, here we see Petra, as well as that other dark mage, who I'm not entirely sure whose name is. Petra still has great legs, I see. Again, this seems to be some sort of private quarters, like invite them in, there's a fireplace there, they're probably going to say various things to you. Seems like you'll be inviting students in pairs, so that's kind of interesting to see. And here we see female Blythe talking to 2 students who I don't recognize right now. I don't know what they're called, but again, same setting, same fireplace, 2 students. And again, here we see female Blythe talking to Raphael and Leoni. We've actually seen very similar footage of this in the trailer itself. I think it might actually be the very same scene. So here we see the students gather around the dinner table. I imagine this is going to be something similar to the hall that you can serve food in Fates. You're probably going to be able to cook up food for your students before going out on a mission to give them food buffs. That seems to be the case. And it looks like he's sort of having some sparkles around himself. I imagine he's like eating the food and telling you how he likes it. Kind of similar to how some characters in Fates like certain food and others don't. And I'm guessing that he just got a buff from some food and he goes like, delicious, and like gets 2 speed or something. That's what I think. So here we have some sort of choice. You as a teacher, it seems like you can pick between one thing or the other. Again, I don't read Japanese. This could either be choice between 2 different classes, or possibly it might just be 2 choices between 2 different weapon skills, kind of similar to how Edelgard asks you in one of the first trailers if she should train swords or axes. This might just be that. He's asking, like, which weapon should I focus on today? That's what I think. Here's the screenshots that we've also seen in the trailer, just Byleth leaning over his desk. I think this is just some footage of the teaching. Like, you can basically select some students. You see some of them studying in the background there. I think this might just be before an exam, like before a reclassing exam. That's what it seems like to me. So here we see Edelgard training up his sword skills. Looks like you have the ability to up her axe rank. There's a little finger right next to her sword rank there. A little bit of a down symbol to bows. We do know now that certain students are better and worse at certain weapons. So it could just mean that Edelgard has an affinity for swords, axes, and flags. I think that's the leadership skill, but she's bad at bows and tomes. It could just be, this is just me speculating, I don't know. But we do know that certain students have affinities for certain things. So here, she leveled up her axe rank to D, so apparently you have the ability to give students axe rank. I do wonder if they'll also be able to train their ranks by fighting, like in the other games, or if this is something you can just do in the monastery. I hope it's a little bit of a combination of both. Again, I don't read Japanese, so it's kind of hard to see what's going on here, but it sure seems like you're giving experience to a student. Looks like he's at 56 experience. And you have the option to give him more. Could this be some sort of bonus experience feature from the Tellius games? I sure hope that would be the case, because I love bonus experience. I would really like to see it come back. So here we see the same student, but with a different outfit. Definitely seems to be some sort of reclassing menu. You can see the class options that he has on the left-hand side there. You can see various weapons being held by the little miniature guys. And you can also see the success chance down in the bottom right corner. 100% means that, you know, he'll reclass regardless. We do know that once a character can reclass, they can reclass freely back and forth. And here we see a student just being grateful. Looks like he just passed his exam and is saying something to the teacher along the lines of, yay, I did it. Here we see Dorothea. Same reclassing system. Again, many of these screenshots are just repetitions of each other. This is just showing off another unit in the same situation. And here we see Dorothea successfully reclassing to what looks to be some sort of magic class. Why would you take away her miniskirt? I mean, good thing she kept those little slits on the side, but yeah, no. Give me back my miniskirt, please. Alright, so yeah, those were the screenshot. I think I said 46, I meant it was 45. Yeah, what can I say? It was, I hate to sound like a broken record, but I'm not a big fan of the aesthetics. I hope the textures get some polish before the final release. So far, I think we're getting a pretty good picture right now what the game will look like and what it's gonna be like. The question is just how the various mechanics are gonna fall in place, but I'm certainly excited. The moment more FE16 news is out, I'll make another video, so definitely subscribe for more Free Houses contents. Do this episode a like and a comment. As always, my name is Mengs, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.